The Chernobyl nuclear disaster was the biggest in history, which became known after the HBO miniseries. It had a large impact on the entire world, including my family. But let's see how this all happened, with our dramatic angle from a scientific point of view. To better understand that, let's have a look at how a nuclear reactor works. It's based on a nuclear chain reaction. When a neutron flies into a uranium-235 nucleus, it splits into a nucleus of barium, krypton, and 3 new neutrons. The mass of the products of this reaction is slightly less than the mass of the components we started with, because the mass difference turned into energy by the famous Einstein's equation. The 3 new neutrons fly into the other 3 uranium atoms, which causes them to fission and create 9 new neutrons and more energy. So the size of the reaction grows exponentially. So how can we control the reaction? To do that, we can insert control rods into the reactor which absorb the neutrons which cause nuclear fission. We can also speed up the reaction by slowing the neutrons down. This can seem counterintuitive, but actually the slower the neutrons fly around, the bigger probability of the reaction. So what exactly went wrong on April 26, 1986 on the Chernobyl nuclear power plant? A major reason was the positive void coefficient of the RBNK reactor, which is how the reactor responds to steam bubbles in the moderator. A positive void coefficient means that when the water boils, the reactivity increases. This causes a positive feedback loop, which makes the reactor hard to control. So, on the night of the accident, they were doing experiments on the nuclear reactor, which was running at a much lower power than what it was designed for. And because of that, large amounts of Xenon-135 accumulated there. Then there was an order from the government to stop the tests and start making energy. The reactor then was full of Xenon-135, which slowed down the reaction. The operators pulled out the control rods and the Xenon-135 started to turn into Xenon-136, so the reactivity began to quickly grow. Then the operators started to put the control rods back in, but they got stuck in a position which caused the reactivity to grow even more, so the reactor melted and exploded. And this was not a nuclear explosion like most people think. This was a steam explosion. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster was 400 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, and its impact will last for hundreds of thousands of years. And many people think that Chernobyl is now a nuclear desert and a home of mutated animals, but that's not true. Chernobyl is now a nature reserve and an open-air scientific lab. Nature turns out to be stronger than the disaster. The expected mutation level is lethal for humans, but fine to animals. And after 35 years, nobody has seen any mutations there. The Chernobyl Nature Reserve is home to thousands of species of plants and rare animals. And now it's a place where nature can be itself.